Hello, welcome to another episode from Bars Security. In this episode, I'm going to be repinning a few cylinders for a client. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first thing I need to do is I'm going to be decoding the client's existing keys. So this is an old master key system from many years ago. So we need to decode the master key first. So I just need to get the right card up for it, which is that one. And now we can decode our first key. Okay, so that's our first decoded key. Now we're going to decode our second key, which is the servant key. First key I did was the master key, so we go back to decode and we do the whole process again. The combination is fairly straightforward. What I do is I take the lowest numbers, they become our plug pins, and then the wafer pins just make up the difference on the math. Right, so what I have is a cylinder auto loader. Nice expensive bit of kit. What this does is it lines up with the holes in the cylinder. Let's hold this down. Let's adjust it right. Okay, so now we've adjusted it all. Basically, you put your springs and your loading plug pins, driver pins in here. This then pushes those down. This arm sweeps across and then pushes it down. I'm used to working this way. Make sure it's all good. All right, so that's now all set. So first thing we need to do is to strip down our first cylinder. So we've got to take our clips off. I've got to strip these down completely. And what we'll do is we'll probably use the existing holes for it. Okay. Springs. Right, well, I'm only seeing 3 springs there. So there should be 6 springs in total. Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Missing one still. I'm missing one right at the very start, so at least it's easy for me to get to. There it is. And that is number 6. So now we've got our 6 springs out, our driver pins. Take our coupling out, which is here. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Unfortunately, I have to do this with all the cylinders. You're probably wondering, why am I doing it? The reason I'm doing it is because there are master wafers in these cylinders, as well as all the drivers and springs. Unfortunately, it all has to come out. Okay, I think that's all my springs. So we will need our cylinder clips as well. I've got a couple of. And what we're going to do is we'll put our springs in first. Okay, so that's our springs in first. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so we got all the springs out. That's the important bit. Right, now I'm just not going to put the driver pins in straight away on this one, because what I want to do now is I need to pin up these cylinders, and then we need to decide on the size of driver pins that we want to put in, so that it makes it all nice and smooth. So we got 2 1s according to our math. That's 1, that's 2. Then we got 2. Then we got all 2s actually. It's 1 1, all the 2s, and a 1 on the end. Okay, simple enough. Hope you all had a good weekend. I had a fairly restful weekend. The family. There we are. Now, should all be number 2 wafers. Let's just put our 2 wafers out. Okay, that's our first half done. And now we're just going to put our number 2s in the first 3 chambers as well. Just so all these have a number 2 wafer in. Okay, so we'll check now our servant key. It's a bit worn, this servant key, so I'm not sure how it's going to fit. All looks fairly simple, fairly even. That's what I want to see. Don't worry if one of your pins falls out, you can always pop it back in. Right, so now that we've got our pins sorted, now we need to sort out the wafers. The driver pins, sorry, not the wafers. So I think we will probably use the Masters wafers number 8. And then what we're looking to do is that for these pins, it should be about halfway down. It's a bit too much, isn't it? So I think we might just use the driver pins that come with the cylinder. I don't think these are going to be long enough. So I think we'll be okay on these. It's probably the AZG we'd need to worry about more. Okay, so now when loading these up, you've got a normal pin which always goes in the first chamber, and then you've got your mushroom style pins, which are your anti-pick pins, which go in the other chambers, and then you have a solid pin on your rear chamber. We do it so it stops the pins from jamming. Now, I should put it right. We've got to adjust this out a bit more. There we go. Sorry. Right, so we've got this now in position. So we take the body and we pop it in vertically. And then that should just hopefully, there we go. A little difficult, I know. And we pop our slider across. There it goes. So that's our first half loaded, as you can see. Now, the reason I do it this way, this is actually for a Grumman, but Grumman and Ever are very similar. My Ever ones, unfortunately, are just 5-pin, and this is a 6-pin Ever. So we'll just pop our plug in there. Hopefully it'll all go in. Looks like our clip wants to give up the ghost, but I'm not going to give up. There it goes. Okay. Our clip actually wanted to pop out there. It's a little bit on the small side, I think, that one. So I think we'll stick to using this one. Now, the thing about these cylinders is that you need both the plugs to be in the same position for when you load the coupling inside. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Right, so now we'll get our second cylinder made up. So now we know what we're doing. Now that we know that all our maths is correct, everything's good. So that's 3 1s and 3 2s. So 2 at the beginning and 1 at the end. We went to site to remove these cylinders and fit the client's own cylinders because he had an old master suite with us. And we brought these back to repin from site, and then we'll be going out to site again to pin them back up. Looks good. Now you'll probably notice that even though I know that everything's right, I'm still going to be checking both keys to make sure that both keys are okay before I load it into the cylinder. Because once we load it into the cylinder, then we're not able to remove it again if it's not right. So it's always best to make sure, because sometimes you get a pin that's not in the right place. And even though it'll make things a bit slower, sometimes slower is best. All right, I'm happy. That's nice and smooth. I don't expect it to be perfectly in position, but I do expect it to be in the right position. Right, so we know that's all correct. Just got where number 2's gone where it shouldn't have done, into its neighbouring chamber, but it's not a problem. We're observant enough to see that, aren't we? I'm sure you saw it as well. Right, so let's reload the second half of the cylinder. So I've got 3, and you'll notice that I've put the plug in the main body of the first one we did on the first side already, so that we don't have any chance of it collapsing while we load up the second cylinder. Okay, same rule applies again. So the solid ones on the ends, and then the mushroom ones in the middle. This one's slightly longer, so hopefully we'll be okay. That looks better. Right, so now the next step is that we need to pop our coupling in, and we line up the 2 large nipples at the top and the 2 small nipples at the bottom. And this is why you need to do this before you fully load the cylinder. Goes. Right, there we are. And then we're going to pop our plug that we've just made up in, line it all up so that it all sits nicely. Moment of truth, that turns around that way, that goes around that way, but doesn't move our cam, which is fine. Pop our key in, works nicely that side. Back here in this side, works nicely that side. If you got the coupling the wrong way round, it would work on one side, but it will not work on the other side. So I've got 4 more of these to do. I'm not going to bore you with that because you don't need to see any more than what I've done now. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. And don't forget, we also do general locksmithing outside, so emergency call outs, lock fitting, etc. and gates and grills. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.